Today, we're diving deep into the heart of Jackson, Mississippi, uncovering the pressing issues that have shaped this city's landscape. From systemic racism to a water crisis, high poverty rates, and soaring crime rates, Jackson's story is one of resilience in the face of adversity. But what exactly are these challenges, and how do they impact the daily lives of Jackson's residents? Stick around as we break it down in plain, straightforward terms, shedding light on the struggles faced by this community and exploring potential pathways forward. So, grab a seat and get ready to embark on a journey through Jackson's past and present as we unravel the complexities behind its most pressing issues. Let's dive in. Challenge number 1: systemic racism. Jackson has a deep-rooted problem with racism that's causing a lot of issues today. Currently, most of the folks living there are Black, 82.2%, with only a small percentage being white, 15.1%. But it wasn't always like this. The trouble started back in the 1970s with something called white flight. This is when white people started moving out of the city and into the suburbs. The reason? Well, it all goes back to the schools. See, back then, the courts finally said that schools needed to be desegregated. But this was a whopping 16 years after they were supposed to have done so, according to the Supreme Court. White families didn't like this idea of their kids going to school with black kids, so they took off to the suburbs. As a result, Jackson lost a ton of people, around 40,000. This was a big deal because back in 1980, the city had about 200,000 people. And the number of white folks in Jackson dropped from 52% to 43% between 1980 and 1990. Now, only 15% of the population is white. All this white flight caused a serious problem for Jackson's finances. With fewer people paying taxes, the city struggled to fix and maintain its roads, schools, and other important stuff. So, systemic racism and white flight really messed things up for Jackson. Challenge number 2: water crisis in Jackson. Jackson faces a serious water problem, mainly because its old pipes and systems can't provide clean drinking water to many people. This lack of safe water affects residents' health and makes some folks leave the city. Things got really bad in 2022 when the main water plant broke down, leaving about 180,000 people without good water. Years of ignoring the city's water systems made the situation worse, hurting not just regular people but also places like hospitals and schools. The help from the National Guard wasn't enough. People had to wait for hours just to get a little bottled water. Eventually, even they ran out, leaving many stuck with unsafe tap water. This crisis isn't just about health. It messes up schools, hospitals, and emergency services. Even big hospitals couldn't keep safe from fires or provide cool air because of the water problem. Not having clean water makes people not want to live here, and those who can leave do. But for those who stay, buying bottled water and other quick fixes costs a lot, making it harder for them to recover from the crisis. Challenge number 3: crime. One big reason Jackson is struggling is because of crime. The city's got a serious problem with crime, especially with a lot of murders happening. For 2 years in a row now, Jackson has had more murders than any other big city in the United States. Along with issues like racism and not having enough good water systems, the city's high crime makes people not want to live there. Crime in Jackson has made national news, painting the city as a place in big trouble and scaring off folks who might want to move there or invest in it. So, just how bad is crime in Jackson? Well, city data shows that Jackson's crime rate is worse than almost all other cities in the US. It's rated at only 4 out of 100 on the safety scale, where 100 is super safe and 1 is very dangerous. Jackson has about 6.31 violent crimes and nearly 38 property crimes for every 1,000 people. Compare that to the US average of about 4 violent crimes and 20 property crimes per 1,000 people. Lots of things are making crime in Jackson so high, like poverty and not enough jobs. The city's mayor says other stuff is making violent crime worse, like problems with holding criminals, too many guns on the streets, and laws that make it hard for cops to catch people with illegal guns. Jackson's high crime rate isn't just bad for safety. It's scaring businesses away from the city, especially from downtown, which hurts the economy and makes it tough to find work. And living in a place with lots of crime can mess with people's heads, making them feel bad mentally. Studies have shown that living in high crime areas can really hurt mental health. Challenge number 4: High poverty rates. We're tackling the urgent problem of high poverty rates in Jackson. According to the latest census data, Jackson's poverty rate stands at 25.9%, nearly 14% higher than the national average. This alarming figure indicates that a significant portion of the city's population faces daily struggles to meet basic needs like food, housing, and health care. Additionally, the median household income in Jackson is $42,900, notably lower than the national median, further highlighting the economic difficulties residents endure. Unfortunately, high poverty rates are not new to Jackson. The city has grappled with this issue persistently over the years, which has led to various challenges for its residents. This situation has, regrettably, hindered the city's progress, making it challenging for individuals and families to break free from the cycle of poverty and build generational wealth. For example, the impact of poverty on education and future job prospects is substantial. Children born into poverty often face barriers to education, which, in turn, limits their ability to secure well-paying jobs in the future. This perpetuates the cycle of poverty, trapping families in economic hardship for generations. The lack of generational wealth is a critical aspect to consider when examining the long-term effects of poverty in Jackson. Families living in poverty typically have minimal assets to pass down to future generations, maintaining a cycle of economic disadvantage. This not only affects financial stability and social mobility within families, but also contributes to the broader community's ongoing poverty cycle. Furthermore, the economic challenges posed by high poverty rates have led to a dwindling tax base, as those who can afford to leave Jackson often do so. Despite these long-standing issues, there is still hope for Jackson's future. Education emerges as a beacon of hope, with Mississippi showing promising improvements in this area. From being ranked the worst in the nation in 2013, Mississippi's educational system has made significant strides, climbing to the 35th position by recent rankings. This positive trend is evident in Jackson, where a public high school recently achieved the 10th position nationally. And that's a wrap for today's deep dive into the challenges facing Jackson, Mississippi. We've uncovered some serious issues, from systemic racism to the water crisis, high crime rates, and poverty. But hey, it's not all doom and gloom. Despite the hurdles, there's hope on the horizon, especially with the strides being made in education. So, if you found this video eye-opening and want to stay in the loop about Jackson's journey to overcome these challenges, be sure to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. And hey, don't forget to drop a comment down below sharing your thoughts on what we've discussed today. Your voice matters in these conversations. Thanks for tuning in, and until next time, stay curious and keep seeking knowledge. Take care, and see you in the next video.